less than 500 bucks. Xiaomi phones haven't always passed my durability test, so this should be pretty interesting. Huge thanks to Norton360 for sponsoring a portion of this video. Norton360 is a group of apps that give multiple layers of protection for providing safety and security features. No one can prevent all cybercrime, of course, but having protection is better than having no protection. I use a VPN when I'm traveling. It secures internet traffic and encrypts it, all while routing it through a remote server. I can access my apps and content just like if I were at home, even though I'm not physically. Pretty useful. You can get up to 60% off with the promo code JERRYRIG. Norton360 isn't just a VPN and antivirus. It also has something called dark web monitoring, which basically scans the web for your personal information. Then you can stay on top of keeping that information private. There's even parental controls to help keep your kids safe online, and it works on multiple devices. Norton360 even has a password manager. There's a lot of protective layers going on, and it works for computers and smartphones, and they're all found in one spot. You can check out Norton360 with the link in the description, or visit norton.com/jerryrig. And thanks again to Norton360 for sponsoring a portion of this video. Now the durability test of the Xiaomi Mi Note 10. Let's get started. This is one of the most powerful phones for the price right now, and it almost slipped my radar. In 2019, I didn't realize how cool this phone was until I started getting a lot of requests for it. It's no folding phone, of course, but I'd say most people aren't looking for that tech just yet. The biggest perk of this phone, I think, is the camera setup on the back. It's got everything: a beastly 108 megapixel camera, a portrait, a telephoto, an ultra-wide, and something we don't see very often, a macro camera for those super close-up shots. The phone does come with a clear case in the box, which is nice. Protection is always a good thing. It's time for the scratch test. The last two phones I tested, the Motorola Razr and Z Flip, both had flex lays that started damage at a level 2. Sapphire, of course, would scratch at level 8 or 9. Xiaomi has said that this phone is using Gorilla Glass on both the front and the back. And indeed, we do see scratches at level 6 with deeper grooves at a level 7. Pretty normal. Everyday object shouldn't do any damage. My Razr blade is unable to scratch the top 32 megapixel cell phone in this teardrop notch. The speaker grill up top is a thin strip of plastic, but it's in tight and won't be falling out on its own. I've got the Aurora Green version of the Mi Note 10, and the frame is made from metal. Flipping it over, we can see the SIM card tray is also made from metal. There's no official IP rating on the Mi Note 10, but it does have a rubber ring around the dual SIM card tray. No SD or expandable memory though. The power and volume rockers are both made from metal. And here at the top, we have more aluminum, along with the built-in IR blaster for remote controlling TVs and stuff. I like phones with features, and this phone, are you ready, even has a headphone jack. You might have heard those old legends of this antiquated technology existing in every communication device, and it's nice to see that Xiaomi is still going strong. The Mi Note 10 is the Swiss Army knife of cell phones. The back panel is made from glass, and each of the cameras are protected as well. The bottom 2 megapixel macro camera, the 12 megapixel wide angle has its own lens, then the 108 megapixel high resolution camera, 12 megapixel portrait, and 5 megapixel telephoto camera are all under the same piece of scratch resistant glass. There are 4 flash LEDs, 2 of which are diffused, kind of cool. The frosted diffusion on top is softer flash, but with LEDs this small it'll be interesting to see if it actually makes a difference. The biggest selling point of this phone to me is, of course, the large selection of cameras. Obviously, that 108 megapixel camera is cool all by itself. I'll let other tech reviewers do the glamour shots. I just like having options. This phone has the largest selection of cameras we've ever seen. A macro lens is something we never usually see included on a smartphone, and I'm sure some of you will find that close-up camera super useful. It's not just the 5 cameras, IR blaster, headphone jack. This phone also has a massive 5,260 mAh battery. We'll have to find that, of course, during the teardown. This sub-$500 Mi Note 10 is easily one of the most feature-rich smartphones we've seen in a long time. It has more features than most $1,000 smartphones, and it survives the burn test. After 30 seconds, there was hardly any damage on the 6.5-inch AMOLED display. But, of course, if we're being honest, if your phone's on fire, you probably have bigger problems to worry about. Last thing to check before the bin test is the under-screen fingerprint scanner. This time around, I'll scan my fingerprint first. We can tell it's an optical fingerprint scanner by the way the screen lights up, illuminating my fingerprint so the under-screen camera can take a picture of it. Then we can inflict some level 7 deeper groove damage on top. This is definitely more scratches than the phone will ever see with regular use. And look at this, the Note 10 is still reading my fingerprint every time and unlocking the phone. Normally, smartphones do survive my durability test, but in the past I've had multiple Xiaomi phones